Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire. Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Bhagavate Uttama Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. Om Agnanatimirandasya Gnananjanashalakaya. चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृन्द। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Bhagavatam Canto 6 Chapter 2 Verse 8 एतेनैव ह्यघोनोऽस्य कृतं स्यादग निष्कृतं यदा नारायणायेति जगाद चतुरक्षरम्. So now they're explaining how Ajamila actually achieved that atonement. The Vishnudutas continued even previously, meaning here in this, in the 7th verse, they said that when he was in a helpless condition, he chanted the holy name Narayana. So this is in the last, when he saw the Yamadutas. He helplessly chanted the name Narayana without offense. That's what we studied yesterday. Now, Vishnudutas are giving further explanation. Even previously, not just now when Yamadutas came, even previously, while eating and at other times, this Ajamila would call his son, saying, "My dear Narayana, please come here." Although calling the name of his son, he nevertheless uttered the 4 syllables, Narayana. Simply by chanting the name of Narayana in this way, he sufficiently atoned for sinful reactions of millions of lives. So yesterday's question is also being answered, Vinod Prabhu's question. So here there is no reference to the person Narayana, as in not to the Lord Narayana, but just the name Narayana. The name Narayana, which has 4 syllables, is being chanted, is being called, is taking the name Narayana. That's all, right? And no remembrance of Narayana, nothing. So Vishnudutas are saying even previously, while eating at other times, he used to call his son, "My dear Narayana, please come here." Although calling the name of his son, he nevertheless uttered the 4 syllables. This is the important part, right? And just by uttering the 4 syllables, he sufficiently atoned. So it was not just at the time of death that he atoned. He had actually already atoned, sufficiently atoned for sinful reactions for millions of lives, because his chanting was inoffensive. He was not chanting offensively. So he was already chanting in Nama Bhasa. Previously, when engaged in sinful activities to maintain his family, Ajamila chanted the name of Narayana without offenses. To chant the holy name of the Lord just to counteract one's sinful activities or to commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name is offensive. Namno baladyasya papa buddhihi. So please understand that by chanting the holy names offenselessly, all the sins are destroyed. Okay. So some people think, okay, anyway, see, name is so powerful. I will commit some mistake and then I will chant Narayana, chant the holy name, Hare Krishna. That is offensive. That is also one of the 10 offenses. It makes it an offense, even though the chanting itself might not be offensive, but the intention of the chanting makes it offensive. This comes in this canto subsequently, Indra killing Tushta, Twashta. So these things we'll discuss. But although Ajamila engaged in sinful activities, he never chanted the holy name of Narayana to counteract them. He was not chanting. He was not doing this offense. He was simply calling out his son, that's all. He simply chanted name Narayana to call his son. Therefore, his chanting was effective. Hmm. Therefore, his chanting was effective. Because of chanting the holy name Narayana in this way, he had already vanquished the accumulated sinful reactions of many, many lives. In the beginning, he was pure, but although he later committed many sinful acts, he was offenseless because he did not chant the holy name Narayana to counteract them, meaning he did not commit an offense in the chanting. One who always chants the holy name of the Lord without offenses is always pure. As confirmed in this verse, Ajamila was already sinless, and because he chanted the name of Narayana, he remained sinless. It did not matter that he was calling his son, the name itself was effective. This is the beauty of chanting the Lord's name. Of course, I mean, this is not the end of it, right? So we are not, so yeah, so okay, we'll discuss this. We'll see what Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is saying. Mm. So translation, he says, when he chanted the 4 syllables Narayana, atonement for the sins that he had committed has been accomplished. Commentary. But Ajamila did not chant with awareness that this was atonement. So Ajamila did not chant with any awareness that this was atonement, or he was not even referring to Narayana. He called out for his son because he was afraid of us. Uh, you do not understand the truth. Being materialistic, you do not understand. Even by calling for his son while not seeking to make atonement, atonement is accomplished. Just chanting at this time for his son should be enough to atone for all his sins. However, previously he chanted in ungrammatical language. Oh Narayana, come here from your mother's lap to my lap. The atonement took place then. Not only chanting 4 syllables, but even chanting the Lord's name in 2 syllables or 1 syllable also destroys all sins. There's not much further explanation for this. Meaning, if there is some name, I don't know, maybe I'm just speculating. If there is a name which is just of 2 syllables or 1 syllable also destroys sins, maybe that's what it is being meant because, or maybe it's talking to, okay, let's see. So there's not much description about what that means. Chanting the Lord's name in 2 syllables or 1 syllable also destroys all sins. But here clearly it is clear that when Ajamila was calling out his son, because he was calling out the name of Narayana in an offenseless manner, he had become pure. That is why in India, our culture was so rich that, we used to name children. Children used to be named on, they used to be given Lord's names, specifically Lord Vishnu, Krishna. And so those parents are really fortunate because just simply by calling their son's name again and again and again without offense, they will they can get liberated. Of course, I mean in Kali Yuga, people also end up doing offensive things because of so-called intelligence. So if there's somebody is pious, somebody simply pious, right, and has faith in Supreme Lord and has named their son, daughter, etc., given Krishna's names or so on. So then they will achieve liberation. Of course, they will not achieve love of Krishna. That is why we have to get connected to a parampara. Otherwise, you can get mukti. You don't have to have any parampara for that. You can just you can get mukti. Mukti is not difficult. But of course, if you don't get connected to a parampara, how will you know that you have to chant without offense? So at least for that base some foundational jnana, you have to come to a guru. Some guru. You have to come to a guru. But if you just, the name is so powerful that if it is just chanted offenselessly, it will give you liberation. But why are we then struggling? Why do we have to take initiation and all this? Two things. One is because we commit offenses while chanting. Second thing is, so how do we rectify ourselves? And and first thing is to come to the stage of inoffensive chanting. One. Second, how do we chant purely so that we develop love of Krishna. So for these two things, we have to come to and we need guidance of a guru. But not that the guru is not giving us a mantra. The mantra we already have. We are already chanting that mantra. But for instructions, for instruction, for example, some other Vedic mantras, they have to be given by guru only. Like for example, Gayatri mantra, it has to be given by guru only. Otherwise, it won't be effective. But here, there is nothing like that. It's already effective. But the reason we accept a Diksha or accept a Guru is to just make sure that we are doing it the right way and to take instructions in terms of how it has to be practiced, chanted, etc. But the name itself is powerful. Mm. So in one way, you can say, okay, if Ajamila had taken initiation from his father or somebody when he was young, but he fell down. But even then, the name is powerful. So it's not like one has to be connected to parampara or anything. But like I said, for one to become liberated, just offenseless chanting will give us liberation. So easy. तेन सुरापो मित्रद्रु ब्रह्मः गुरुतल्पगः स्त्रीराजपितृगोहन्ता ये च पातकिनोपरे सर्वेषामभ्यगवताम् इदमेव सुनिष्कृतम् नाम व्याहरणं विष्णोर्यतस्तद्विषया मतिः. The chanting of the holy name of Lord Vishnu is the best process of atonement for a thief of gold or other valuables, for a drunkard, for one who betrays a friend or relative, for one who kills a brahmana, for one who indulges in sex with the wife of his guru or another superior. It is also the best method of atonement for one who murders women, the king or his father, for one who slaughters cows, for all other sinful men. Simply by chanting the holy name of Lord Vishnu, such sinful persons may attract the attention of the Supreme Lord, who therefore considers, because this man has chanted my holy name, my duty is to give him protection. So the important part is just that even if a person doesn't know that the holy name belongs to the Lord, but is chanting the holy name offenselessly, the Lord thinks, okay, this person has chanted my holy name. This is the special mercy. So my duty is to give him protection. Though he has not chanted with the intention that I'm chanting Lord Narayana's name. He just chanted the name which has these four syllables Narayana. But the Lord considers, oh, because this man has chanted my holy name, so my duty is to give protection. Commentary by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Prabhupada doesn't have any commentary here. The name of the Lord may destroy sins, but how can Nama Bhasa be the atonement for thousands of grave sins which cannot be destroyed by thousands of 12-year vows? So, um, so prayaschitta sometimes for certain type of sins, it's like 12 years you have to do prayaschitta. Uh, Chanting is the best atonement since it destroys the root of sin. A 12-year vow of atonement, though it destroys the effects of sin, cannot destroy the root of sin. This we already discussed. This is not the only result, because from chanting the name of the Lord's mind dwells on that person who chants. So this is a very long purport. So we are going to possibly discuss this for today and maybe another 1 or 2 days. Prabhupada has not written anything here, but Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has written an elaborate commentary. So it's not just that because it destroys the root of sin. This is not the only result. Because from chanting the name of the Lord's mind dwells on that person who chants. The Lord thinks this person belongs to me. I will always protect him. This is Sridhar Swami's meaning of the phrase. Tad Vishayamatihi. So the Lord thinks that this person belongs to me. This man has chanted my holy name. My duty is to give him protection. Or this person belongs to me. So it's not required for a person to even know who this person is, whose name he's chanting. He just needs to chant. That's all. Okay, I'm going to go very slow here because there's so many things. So two things so far. One is chanting the holy name is the best form of atonement because it destroys the root of sin, and for any kind of offenses that we have committed in the past will all get destroyed by simply chanting offenselessly the holy name of Krishna or Vishnu. Second, when somebody is chanting the holy name offenselessly, then the Lord's mind dwells on that person who chants, meaning the Lord thinks, okay, this person belongs to me, so I have to protect him. Continuing. The servants of Vishnu said, hearing his name being chanted and remembering Ajamila, the Lord ordered us to bring Ajamila who was chanting his name. See, Ajamila did not, till now it's not said that Ajamila thought about Narayana, though it is said at some point of time he thought. But but when the Vishnu Dutas, how did the Vishnu Dutas come? Why did the Lord send? Because hearing his name chanted, the Lord is thinking, oh, this person belongs to me. And so he says, okay, I will always protect him. So Vishnu Dutas go and protect him. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is saying, then how much more the Lord will remember a person who chants the Lord's name with service attitude. The Lord, even though this person, he doesn't have any kind of service attitude, no relationship with the Lord whatsoever, but is simply taking the name. For such a person only, the Lord is thinking this person belongs to me, so I will give him all protection. So now Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is asking, what if a person chants the Lord's name with some relationship, with a service attitude? To show this to the servants of Yama, the servants of Vishnu said that Ajamila's chanting at the time of death had destroyed all his sins. But actually, from the first time that Ajamila called his son Narayana, all his sins had been destroyed. So actually, here a little bit complexity is there. Okay. Hmm. Meaning, so actually, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur here is saying that when he started chanting Narayana offenselessly, which is calling out his son Narayana, actually all his sons had been destroyed. All his sins had been destroyed. Rest of the chanting after that, meaning even if once a person chants offenselessly, all the sins are destroyed. Previous sins are destroyed. Now, what happens to the chanting that happens after that? So here, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is saying that the rest of the chanting produced bhakti. It produced bhakti. And so Ajamila actually thought of Narayana later. But to if we to tell the Vishnu Yamadutas that the name is so powerful, Vishnu Duta somewhat said at the time of death when he called, all his sins were destroyed because they did not mention about the develop already that bhakti had developed in Ajamila. They did not speak about that. Just to show how powerful the name is. Even once chanting is good enough. Not that he was, because he was chanting, for so many months, he had developed bhakti, had destroyed all sins. No, even if once if chanted, it is good enough to emphasize that somewhat Vishnu Dutas did not tell that his previous chanting had already been effective and all his sins had been destroyed and subsequent chanting had already produced bhakti in him. And his Vivashaha chanting, it was just spontaneous, out of affection for his child. Nothing to do with Narayana. But after chanting repeatedly, he committed repeated sins. Ah, so while he was chanting repeatedly, he still committed repeated sins such as going to the prostitute and drinking wine. In order to destroy those sins, he had to chant at the end of his life. Since there was again appearance of sin. Hmm. No, this cannot be said because it will be said later. Chanting the Lord's name destroys unlimited sins. So, okay, so some Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is very, very analytical. So let me try to explain. So in the previous paragraph, he said that chanting, once he chanted, actually all the sins mm, were gone, and subsequent chanting actually produced bhakti. Now, somebody might argue saying that no, no, when he chanted, all his previous sins were destroyed, but then he continued to do sins. So, to counteract or atone for all those new sins, he again had to chant. No, that's not true, because if it's already said from Vishnu Purana that once chanted, it will chanting the Lord's name destroys unlimited sins. Mm. One more, Bhagavatam is saying, Yannama Sakritshanavat Pukkashopi Vimuchate Samsarat. By hearing one of your names once, even the outcast is delivered from the material world. Just see how powerful it is. Yeah, one more verse in Bhagavatam, it says, an outcast becomes immediately free of bondage of karma by chanting the Lord's name even once. So we should understand we are all we are all technically liberated because we've been chanting. Of course, if you're chanting offensively, then that is our actually in our challenge is a little different. Actually, we would have chanted at least once offenselessly. So the sins have gone. The sins have gone. But then we are not going to get Krishna Prema if you are chanting in Nama Prada. So our problem is we chanted in Nama Bhasa, then we came down to Nama Prada. So we degraded. But normally people initially chant in Nama Prada, then they come to offend Nama Bhasa, and then they go to Shuddha Nama. But our situation is, because this is Kali Yuga, so we started off and we would have chanted Nama Bhasa in Nama Bhasa initially because we didn't know anything about Nama Aparad. So till then, whatever chanting is done without any knowledge of offense. So even once if you have taken Krishna without offense, that is already destroyed. Even now, if you have not chanted till now without offense, you can just chant now. Okay. Okay, it's a nice chapter glorifying the glories of holy name of Krishna Narayana. Okay, Krishna Narayana. That's all. Over. All sins are gone. But then because of our anarthas, we end up doing aparadas, right? Or further sins. Any further sins are also destroyed. But because we commit aparadas, which could be nama aparada, seva aparada, vaishnava aparada, jiva himsa. Actually, jiva himsa will come under papa only. But these three aparadas, then we don't experience the effects. So we'll discuss all this one by one. Okay. Because there is no mention of a particular time span for the effect of Namabhasa to occur, it should be understood that by the first chanting there is destruction of all sins, all desires, and as well ignorance, which is the root cause. Because only then sin will not reappear in the future. So look at this. By the first chanting there is destruction of all sins, all desires, and as well ignorance, which is a root cause. Because only then sin will not reappear in the future. So, saying by once chanting in offenselessly, all sins, all desires, and ignorance should be destroyed. Now, maybe then there are two ways to look at it. One is if all sins anyway can be destroyed, that we won't know. But if all desires and ignorance have not been destroyed, then maybe there can be two ways to interpret this. One is that we never chanted in Namabhasa, right? Or maybe there are mm, okay, that actually is not clear. Mm. Why, if suppose say we've chanted, but we still have material desires, we are still in ignorance, then maybe it does means that we have not chanted in Namabhasa. Why then did sin not leave Ajamila after chanting the first time? How could he continue to be attached to the woman and commit sin for so long if all his sins had been destroyed? Like the karmas of the Jivan Mukta, which remain for some time simply as impressions, Ajamila's sins, which lasted till his death, were like the bites of a toothless snake and did not generate results. So he's answering that question. That why did these sins remain? Because uh, it is just like some impressions remaining. They remained only as impressions. So it's like compared to the bites of a toothless snake and did not generate any papa karma, papa phala. Moreover, the Lord himself will cause continuance of sin in order that, please hear this, this is where we will get bewildered. Moreover, the Lord himself will cause continuance of sin in order that other philosophies, karmakanda, etc., will not be completely uprooted, since no one will have any faith at all in those processes. Okay, let me explain this. Okay, so just if you have any questions, please intervene and ask me because this is very, very super technical topic. Okay, till now what we have discussed that chanting even once is enough to destroy all sins and it also destroys the root of sin. Okay, and when the chanting is done even without any consciousness, when without even referring to the Lord is so merciful, he thinks that a person who is calling my name belongs to me, so I have to always protect him. Okay, and that for that there are references, and even chanting even once is the key. Chanting even once without offense is good enough to destroy all sins, all desires, all ignorance. So then now we are answering this question: why then did sin not leave Ajamila? Why are devotees who even chant at least once offenselessly seem to be committing further sins? So for this, there are two explanations being given. Okay, is it clear so far? Any questions? Anybody? There are questions, please ask. Yeah, Vamshi Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Prabhu, if we say atonement, it's removal of sins or also uprooting, basically even
No, atonement simply means removing of sinful reactions.
that's all, right? So
Nama,
even some
Nama
of
does both.
the okay,
Nama uproots sins, sinful reactions, desires to sin, ignorance, everything.
okay. Because you had mentioned there are four things, na Prabhu, like prarabdha karma, aprarabdha karma,
Everything will
bija,
get
and kuta. Everything will get approved.
everything will get destroyed.
Okay, with just
Every,
an atonement.
no, with just chanting the holy name once without offense.
Okay, understood. Okay,
I mean, with atonement also it happens, but with atonement, what happens is again there is propensity to sin. So again there are sinful reactions.
understood, Prabhu. Okay, got it.
Okay, Ankita Mataji.
So Prabhu, you said liberation we can get. Our goal is Krishna Prema, right?
Yeah.
Liberation, liberation. People who got liberation,
Hmm.
I had this doubt earlier also. Will they come back to this material world again?
Yeah, so that Bhagavatam says one who got liberated and is in Brahmajyoti can come back because there's no activity there.
Okay.
Because they don't have Anadrita Krishna, Anadrita, they don't have respect for the holy lotus feet of the Lord. What is that? Enne Arvindaksha Vimukta Maninas. Anadrita Yushmadangriyam. So that word says Anadrita Yushmadangriyam. So Anadrita means no respect for your lotus feet. So they can fall down. Those who go to Brahman, because they have no conception of the Supreme Lord and his lotus feet, right? Meaning they will commit offenses at the lotus feet of devotees and the Supreme Lord. So there is possibility, so they'll come back. But those who have
But
actually done bhakti, they know they respect the lotus feet of the Lord and they respect the lotus feet of devotees. So they will not come back.
okay. From Vaikuntha also people are never going to come back. Only from
Yeah,
Brahmaja people may fall
yes.
down again.
Yeah. I mean, if that is what, if the whole process is that, see, sometimes what happens, yogis might achieve uh, Yeah, but yogis also can't achieve Vaikuntha without bhakti. Yeah, so they should have a sense of bhakti, which is respect to the lotus feet of Lord and his devotees. Then they won't come back, basically. Yeah, nobody will enter Vaikuntha without developing respect. So they can only enter up to Brahmajyoti. Those who go into Brahmajyoti can fall down.
Okay.
Okay, anything else on the chanting itself? So far, whatever we discussed about the glories of chanting. Okay.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yeah, Maestro.
Uh, there are various names of the Lord: Srinivasa, Govinda, Gopala, Narayana, Sri Rama, Sri Krishna.
Yeah.
Do all these names have the same impact when we do Nama Japa?
Yeah. So there are two types of names of the Lord. One is called primary name, the other is secondary name, or the direct name and the indirect name. So all direct names have the same effect. In direct names are all this you said, right? Any of the names. Then indirect names are like Paramatma, Ishvara, all this which are indirectly referring to the Lord by referring to some qualities he has. Those will not give the same result. Okay, but the direct names give result. Now, this what result we are talking about? We are talking about just namabhasa or liberation. Any name of the Lord will give liberation if chanted offenselessly. Any meaning primary name of the Lord will give liberation if chanted offenselessly. But if you want Krishna Prema, then there is recommendation, prescription for Kali Yuga or Bhagavad Prema. So we have to
Okay.
distinguish between liberation and bhakti, Shuddha Bhakti. Liberation is possible. Yeah, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Prabhu, so basically, chanting even once the offenselessly the name, it removes the root cause, the root of the
Yeah,
sins.
yeah, yeah.
But what about the propensity? So the
Yeah, that is
propensity
the root of sin. Root of sin means propensity. So that's what now he is going to explain. So maybe we might not be able to 100% understand. We'll try to understand what Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur purport he's saying, right? And then if there are further doubts, we can ask some senior devotees. We have not yet answered that part. So we are just entering into this question now that why then did sin not leave Ajamila? Which means that propensities, why did they not leave? Why did they not leave Ajamila? Why did he continue to attach to the woman and commit sin for so long? That is a question now we are going to answer. We're just starting that section right now.
Okay, Prabhu. Yeah.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. One more
Yeah.
question.
Yeah.
See, we give children the names of the Lord.
Yeah.
But at the same time, when the children do some wrong things or mischievous things, we also scold the children.
Yeah.
Okay. In this case, what will be the effect? Because we are giving the God's name to the children. When we scold them or chide them,
Yeah.
maybe sometimes we might even include the name of the Lord and then chide them. I mean, the name of the
Yeah.
child.
It
So,
is
what
okay.
will be the impact of this? Is it a sin or is it? How do we
No,
consider?
nothing. See, because we already discussed, Ajamila did not even call Narayana thinking of Narayana, right? Now, when Ajamila is calling his son Narayana, I would say, Narayana, come. Narayana, how many times should I tell you to come? Right? Now, he is just calling his son Narayana. Now, what is the context in which so there is a material activity and there's a spiritual activity. The material activity is interacting with the child, scolding the child, appreciating the child. These are all material activity. The spiritual activity, which has no relationship with the material emotions involved. Taking the name of Narayana has nothing to do nothing to do with whether you are whether you are using it in the context of scolding somebody or in appreciating somebody, because Narayana, the word itself is transcendental, right? And Lord Narayana is not seeing in what context my name is being used. That's why Lord Narayana simply thinks, okay, he's just calling my name, he's mine. He's giving complete, like it's the causeless mercy of the Lord, that he's not even bothering why somebody is taking that name. Right? This is the
Okay.
causeless mercy of the Lord name, causeless mercy of the Lord's name. See, when we come to Rupa of the Lord, for example, deities, when there's so many rules, and if we do mistakes, then we are actually get affected by it. But here there is nothing, even as long as it is not intentionally disrespectful, intentionally offensive, the name will act. That is why Prabhupada repeatedly said, develop attachment to the Nama. He is not saying development attached to the Lord, develop attachment to the Lord. Of course, that is the end goal. But what is the process or method to develop attraction or love for Krishna is to develop attachment or love for the Nama, to develop attachment to the name. So please understand that name is transcendental. It has no context. It is above all material context. That okay? Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
I have one doubt, Prabhuji.
Hmm.
Prabhu, you have told that God has several name like Narayana, Srinivasa, like this. Even though he has so many names, in Hare Krishna Mahamantra, there is only name Krishna and Rama. Is there any specific reason why only those
Yeah,
two
because that
names
is called Taraka Brahma Nama. See, the name this is the Nama to achieve perfection. That's why I said, if you want Krishna Prema, then you have to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. If you want liberation, you can take any name of the Lord.
Okay, Prabhu.
Okay. Anything else? Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Okay, Vinod Prabhu. Yeah, husband gets priority.
No, Prabhu. This
You had
is
anyway
only
unmuted yourself. Go ahead.
Oh, okay, Prabhu. So a couple of questions here, Prabhu. So one is like, so because when we meet some people, especially kids, right? Sometimes we ask them to repeat after us, right? Hare Krishna Mahamantra.
Yeah.
And then they repeat after us, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just trying to understand that subtlety of what we call, offenseless chanting, because we keep saying offenseless chanting. So is that considered offensive? Because they are like very innocent, right? We ask them to say this, and then sometimes we meet a lot of people. A lot of times we ask them to repeat after us. They repeat it innocently. Is that considered offenseless? And then also
Yeah, their chanting
number
is
two.
offenseless.
Okay. So
Yeah,
number
their
two,
chanting is
Prabhu, I mean, do we, because Chaitanya, I don't know, I heard this, that, even if at least once a person chants this Hare Krishna Mahamantra, then they should be considered a devotee. Is that right, Prabhu? Or,
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
yeah?
correct. That's a neophyte devotee.
Okay.
Kanishta Adhikari.
Okay, Prabhu. Yeah, I think I got my answers.
Okay. Yeah, Rohini Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. So the people who get liberation into the Vaikuntha, they also have bhakti, right, Prabhu?
No, not liberation to Vaikuntha. Liberation to Brahma Jyoti.
Okay. I mean, people who has entered into Vaikuntha, they should have bhakti on towards Vishnu's expansions of Vishnu.
Yes.
Right. And I have one more question. Actually, I read in
one caveat there, like for example, the Kumaras, they entered the gate.
Yes.
But they couldn't enter inside. The Lord only came out.
Right.
Yeah. So they can enter up to there.
Oh, okay. Okay, Prabhu. And may I know, like, Kalisandana Upanishad, I think Hare Rama is first, and also Lord Shiva tells Mother Parvati that he chants Hare Rama first and then Hare Krishna.
No, actually, so that is a controversial thing. So actually, apparently, there are multiple versions of. So two things actually, right?
Yeah.
So Kalisantarana Upanishad might still have Hare Rama in the beginning, and that is a Upanishadic mantra.
Okay.
The Upanishadic mantra is not chantable by everybody.
Oh,
I
okay.
heard this. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he is speaking in Chaitanya Charitamrita, when he is talking to Tapan Mishra, so
Okay.
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually chants Hare Krishna first. And the reason that I heard was that too, it is to convert the Upanishadic mantra, which will require rites.
Oh, okay.
But everybody needs to chant. So it became like a non-Vedic mantra. And so everybody can chant.
But like, how does it will give the effect, Prabhu? Like, if it, because it
Chaitanya
is
Mahaprabhu
changed
has
by
come.
Krishna only, right?
Yeah.
So this way.
So
Okay.
he's only come and changed.
No, one
I'm
of my
saying you
friend was
chant this.
asking.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of my friend was asking. So then, why Krishna first? Why do we chant Krishna first? So
Yeah,
then,
because Krishna himself came and said, you people are not qualified to chant this, so I will give you a different version.
oh, okay. I told in this way, like, in Kali Yuga, like, people are, Dharma is only one pada. So we are not that pure. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came himself and he started this Yuga Dharma. So that's why we chant like this.
Yeah, I mean, what reason? Yeah, but this is the mantra which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave.
Yes, bro.
Yeah. The reason can be, I don't know. It was, I have not read this in Prabhupada's books, but some devotee was saying that it was to convert that Upanishadic mantra to non-Upanishadic mantra. But for a simple reason is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself chanted this word, so we are chanting.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Shashank Prabhu.
Hare
Yeah,
Krishna.
one second, Sunil Prabhu. 1 second, Shashank Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yeah.
Prabhu, one doubt, when chanting of holy name is so powerful that destroys sin plus the root of sins,
Yeah.
then our anarthas can also be destroyed, no Prabhu?
Yeah,
Why then we are...
we'll discuss that. That is what is going to come up now. Yeah, so next session will be very, very confusing. We'll come to that. So it's the most complicated purport I've ever read, and I've read this multiple times. I've not been able to understand it fully. So, but now, yeah, in the association devotees, if at all Krishna Prabhupada gives some extra mercy, then maybe we can try to understand. We'll see. But this is being discussed. It's going to be discussed now.
Okay. Thanks, Prabhu.
Yeah, Sunil Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yeah.
Prabhu, when I asked the same question, what is the difference between Hare Krishna and Hare Rama, Hare Rama? When they start, I think I asked this question like around like long time back for one of the ISKCON devotees. The answer what I got is like the meaning of the mantras is completely different. And the Rama in Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare is basically Balarama. So that's what I remember, Prabhu, which just flashed upon. But please confirm on this, Prabhu, if in case any.
Nothing like that. Rama can mean any Vishnu Tattva that you desire. So if you want to refer to Balarama, you can refer to Balarama. If you want to refer it to Ramachandra, you can refer it to Ramachandra. If you want to refer it to Parashurama, you can refer it to Parashurama. There's nothing like that. I have not heard or read anything to that extent. So it's just that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu changed the order, and we are chanting that because he changed the order.
Okay, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Prabhu, can I add to that?
Yeah.
Yeah, Prabhu. So in Bhagavad Gita, I think, I mean, the word Rama, right? Srila Prabhupada mentioned in one of the purports, right? Ramante yogino anante pratyananda chidapmani itai Rama pade namasho. Right? So basically, I mean, all the great devotees, they derive immense pleasure by chanting the names of the Lord. That's why he's called Rama. So I think that Rama is still pointing to Krishna.
It
Right?
can point to
I
Krishna.
just understood that way.
It's not actually pointing to, see, actually, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is a book called Bhajana Rasya. So in that he's given actually meanings for each and every nama in the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. What is the meaning? So it's a very deep topic. I have not studied that in detail, but yeah, Rama also means pleasure. So one meaning of this is that when we chant Hare Krishna nicely, we will experience the pleasure also. There is another meaning. And that Rama also refers to Krishna who is always in bliss. So it's, anyway, so many meanings are there. But we should only go by what Acharyas have said. So we should have a reference. If you are saying something like, for this, for example, that Prabhupada himself has spoken that it could be Rama, Ramchandra, Balarama, Parshurama, or he's talked about that Rama referring to the happiness. But we should not interpret just, it should be based on Shastra. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur is a good, his Bhajana Rahasya is a good reference for this.
So Prabhu, I mean, when we chant Rama, I mean, based on that, I always think of Krishna himself rather than
We should not think about
debating myself. Yeah. So rather than interpreting as Balarama and all that, so I still stick to the Lord himself, Krishna. I mean, like in that derivation of the Ramante Yogina. So,
that's fine.
I mean, that's
but
how I chant.
We should not think when we are chanting. We should
Yeah.
just hear the name.
Yeah. Okay.
See, again, I mean, I'm saying anyway, this whole series of discussions will be around chanting also. We have to remember that we have to just develop attachment to the holy name. We have to be just attached to the name Krishna, to the name Rama. Just the name. Right?
But Prabhu,
And if
the forms
naturally,
of the Lord come in front of him. I mean, because that's how somehow it happens for me.
yeah,
If
so
the
we'll discuss
forms of
that.
the deities come in front of.
We'll discuss
I
that.
mean, okay.
Yeah, but the focus, Prabhupada said that if it is naturally something is happening, then you can allow it to happen, whatever that is, but not intentionally. Right. Anyway, so we'll discuss some of these things. What is intention? What is natural? If you are getting into a practice of doing something, then it's artificial. It's not natural. Practice, meaning as soon as I start chanting, I start practicing thinking about Krishna. That's not natural. It's an artificial practice. So we have to be careful about these things. Otherwise, Prabhupada would have encouraged all these things because it happens to all devotees. But he still said, focus on the name. Okay, we will see. We'll see what all realizations we get by the end of this one purport is everything. Okay, so I'll stop here and we will continue this tomorrow, Krishna willing. Okay, we will end for today. Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Pancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Vacha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Ananta Koti Vaishnava. Jai Samahita Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Guruji.
Hare Krishna.